what's up everybody? Welcome back to more 428 Shibuya Scramble. My name is Ray from the Sky, and let's continue. Sorry about the abrupt ending last episode. Nothing happened with the software or anything. I made a mistake and hit the stop record button, you know. I was trying to take a screenshot. They have on the Media software, they have the screenshot but right under the record button, and my mouse was on the record button instead. Oh boy. Derpity derp derp. Further along Coindori, I came across a car on the roadside that was spectacularly aflame. A group of onlookers surrounds it in a confused uproar. It seems almost unreal, like I'm looking at a set for a TV show or something. I stand there staring into the flames. Huh? What's that? I can see something. The raging heat makes the air shiver. The scent of dry sand fills my nose. A gust of searing wind tugs at my hair. Where am I? Decaying roads, decaying houses, a decaying city. And the people who live there, people who live. There's something by my side. Someone is with me, watching all of this. It's a girl. The person with me is a girl, slightly younger than me. She says something to me. Anna is me. Cat's cradle. That's my voice now. Cat's cradle. Whose voice was that? What's going on? Who am I talking to? Yeah, cat's cradle. I'm showing someone how to do a cat's cradle with string. But who? Who am I showing how to do a cat's cradle? Kanan. The word Kanan echoes in my head. Kanan? I utter the name aloud. Images floating through my mind are beginning to break up and vanish. But I feel like for a brief moment at least, I caught hold of the edges of some of my lost memories. That's right, Kanan. As soon as I say it, I'm filled with a powerful sense of duty. There's something I'm responsible for, something that I needed to do. And if I don't, this Kanan person is going to be in grave danger. Just calm down. I'm pleading with myself, now fighting the impulse to take off running. If I did, where would I go? I have no idea what my destination or my goal even is. Please remember something. Please. I gaze out at the flames, practically praying now. Don't move. A voice hisses in my ear, and I feel something hard press against my back. I don't need to turn around to recognize whose voice it is. Thought you said you didn't have any business with. I did a little thinking, says the man with the cane, slowly. about how I might lure out Hitomi Osawa, see? I'm going to use you as bait. To be continued. Alright, so on to the 1600 block now. Choice and sacrifice. Archie could hear ambulance and police sirens wailing on the main road. He looked down at Hitomi, slumped on a parking lot bench beside him. Park bench, I'm sorry. You sure you're not hurt? He asked quietly, offering her a bottle of water. I'm okay. Hitomi took a sip from the bottle. Thanks. I think I've managed to calm down some. Some of the color had finally returned to her face. So Aichi began hesitantly inside that minivan. Maria wasn't in there. There was relief in her voice, but also a note of pathos. I got to look in through the windshield. There was a man laid out in the back seat, but nobody else. The dark cloud lifted from Aichi's face. So it wasn't your sister? No, I didn't see his face. Just that he was wearing a business suit. Aichi felt the tension ebbing from his body. That's good then. That it wasn't her. I'd been worried. It was a shame about the poor devil who had been killed, though. Who was it, and why had he been there? So I guess now we're out of leads. Tommy murmured as she hung her head. We could try the surveillance center again for now, Aichi said. It'll probably give us better odds of finding your sister than just walking around. I guess you're right. Shall we then? Hold on. Aichi had a sudden flash of inspiration. My house is a lot closer from here. Maybe I should ask my dad if we can check the cameras from home. You can do that? We have the same system at our house. I'm sure my dad will let us use them. The two got up and headed for Indo Electronics. Aichi decided to let his father know they were coming. Turned on his phone as they walked along. Aichi had it off for a while, so first he checked his voicemail. There was one message, warning who might have called. He played it back. This is Aichi Indo's personal cell phone. This is Dr. Saiki from Shibuya Central Hospital. Uh-oh. Saichi Saiki, heart specialist and Suzune's attending physician. A preeminent surgeon who has successfully performed the Batista procedure, wherein the left ventricle is reconstructed after a third of it has been removed. Aichi's expression stiffened. He pressed the phone closer to his ear. There's been a sudden change in Suzune's condition. I tried calling her home as well, but I got no answer. Aichi felt the edges of his vision growing dim. As her brother, it would be good if you can come to the hospital as soon as possible. It's... Aichi? He told me his voice was full of concern. Sorry, I just gotta make a call here. Fingers trembling, Aichi dialed his house. The phone rang several times before switching over to the answering machine. Darn it, where the heck are you, Dad? What's wrong? Hitomi asked. It's Suzune. Sounds like things have gotten pretty bad. Well, then we need to get to the hospital right away, Hitomi said. She sounded as anxious as Aichi was. You can't go yet. Aichi shook his head quietly. First, we have to save your sister. Hitomi bristled angrily at that. What are you talking about? She grabbed Aichi by the arm and shook him. Right now, you need to be thinking about your sister. I can't. I made a promise to Suzune. A promise to help people and see things through to the end when something important is on the line. He struggled to get the words out. I break that promise. And I really am no good to her. But Hitomi didn't look like she was going to back down. Oi! Get back here! A threatening shout rung out from nearby. Aichi looked around, startled, and saw a boy about high school age bolting out from behind a building on the side street. Several slightly older young men were hot on his heels. Oh, Aichi knew their faces all too well. They were all members of SOS. They caught their quarry just before he could make it out into the main road. Heh, gotcha, newbie. So, the kid they were after must have been a member too. Let me go. Oh, well, we'll let you go, all right. After you pay up. One of the young men snatched the boy by the collar and shoved him against the wall of a nearby building. The boy's face scrunched up. What are you talking about? Playing dumb, huh? Interjected one of the onlookers. We told you that members all have to pay monthly dues, yeah? The privilege of getting to call yourself SOS don't come free. After all, Aichi felt his blood boil. SOS was trying to pull a shakedown on this new kid under the guise of calling it dues. Slang for extortion. A full-fledged crime. Naturally, the direct shakedown, give me all your money, punk, is quite unpleasant, but more roundabout ways of being shaken down can still leave a bad taste in one's mouth. Someone who was surrounded on the street by 8 people in pompadours who said, begging your pardon, but could you please hand over your money, might suffer no physical harm, but would still be the victim of a shakedown. Wow, it would have been unthinkable for them to do this like this, do something like this back when Aichi was running the show. Hey, he barked. Let the kid go. He marched toward the group. Say what now? They turned to look, their faces immediately going pale. Oh, hey, Aichi. Let him go. Aichi focused his glare on the fellow holding the kid until he released his grip. You guys always go around doing stuff like this? None of the gang members answered. They merely turned their gazes glumly to the ground. Hey, Aichi turned to the younger boy. Since when have they been doing this? But of course he realized there was no way the newbie would be able to tell him. Never mind. You can go, Aichi gestured toward the main road. The boy was quick to run off. Aichi waited until the boy was gone before turning back to the others. Does Susumu know you're going around collecting dues like this, he asked. Man, we don't gotta tell you that, one of them muttered. Not since you deserted. What'd you just say? Aichi leaned in close, getting right in the guy's face. He was met with a defiant sneer. This ain't the old SOS anymore. Not the old SOS? Aichi thought back to the other gang member he'd run into earlier, with the malicious gleam in his eyes. That guy. Pretty sure he said his name was Kiryu. Kiryu. I said Kiryu. It's Kiryu. Back when Aichi had been with SOS, he'd never have let a guy like that get away with acting all high and mighty. Suddenly, Aichi heard a voice from behind him. Well, well, if it ain't our legendary founder. An instant later, he took a hard blow to the side of the head. Heh. I was just out looking for some small fry, but looks like I landed a big one. Aichi's head swam and his vision fading in and out. Before he had a chance to recover, something smashed into his knee. He lay crumpled on the ground, unable to retaliate as kicks and punches rained down on him. Even after Aichi could no longer move, the beating didn't stop. His ruptured eardrums could barely make out the sound of Hitomi screaming. Hitomi, run. His final plea, silence before it reached his lips. Aichi felt his consciousness battered away. Bad ending? Yep. Kiryu's ambush. Alright, Kiryu turned up out of nowhere and gave Aichi a beatdown with a piece of timber. But just before he attacked Aichi, Kiryu had run into someone else. Oh! That person said something that changed what Kiryu did. The individual in question needs to say something different to ensure Kiryu doesn't go to Dogenzaka while Aichi and Hitomi are there. Oh. So we chose the wrong person to start it out with. Okay, so I'll tell you what. I ain't gonna end it here. Man. Someone else. Like, who could it be? I mean, a bad ending right off rip. Minoru needed to get back to the editing office right away, but despite the urgency, he barely stumbled along. He was swaying on his feet, only half aware of where he was even going. No, this is all some sick joke. He just couldn't accept that Toyama was dead. He let out a lifeless sigh, a cynical smile crept on his face. The man always did insist on having his own way, but killing himself? Back when he was still a novice reporter, Minoru had written a piece about a middle school girl who had committed suicide. The school had made a statement denying that bullying had been a factor. And most of the media had reported that she had suffered a nervous breakdown over entrance exams. A period of mental illness manifesting as panic disorder, stress-induced anxiety, or the like. The term is commonly used to refer to a serious health issues, such as schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, manic depression, as well as the buildup of more minor stresses as part of everyday life. Because it is so broadly and vaguely defined, it is generally avoided in psychiatric contexts. Something about the case had kept nagging at him. Had her death really been a suicide? The more people he interviewed about the incident, the more his doubts grew. The city news editor, however, would not allow him to conduct a follow-up investigation. And the reason why was simple. This was the sort of thing that happened every day. They couldn't waste time on a case that was already on the books. It was more important for a reporter to find new stories than to squander time engrossed in a case that was old news. Minoru understood the editor's decision well enough. But that didn't mean he had to like it. He had been sulking up on the roof, slowly nursing a cigarette, when the paper's local news copy editor, Toyama, appeared to drop by. At a newspaper, an employee who evaluates the quality and suitability of reporters' copy and coverage. Effectively the boss of a group of reporters. However, a copy editor typically works under a section editor who has the final say about what makes the page. A middle management position caught between upstart reporters and the angry section chief. Did they say no to the follow-up interviews, Toyama asked? About that girl's suicide. That girl. The name of the girl who killed herself was Shiharu Fuyutsuki. After reading her diary, Minoru became convinced it wasn't an ordinary suicide. 6 years from now, Minoru will run into a certain teacher, and the investigation to the student's death will be reopened, but that's another story for another time. Yeah, Minoru expelled a plume of his smoke along his side. Nothing tasted quite as bad as a cigarette, and he was down in the dumps. So what are you going to do? I'm not going to do anything, Minoru said. Editor told me no. Oh, editor said not to? You sound like a child. The rebuff made Minoru tempers flare. There are other interviews to do. I want to follow up on this, but there isn't any time. You dummy! Toyama hauled off and hit him right across the face. What happened to, I write what I feel in my heart? That's the one thing I refuse to back down on. What happened to the guy who used to complain at me like that? Toyama's words hit their mark with painful precision. The interviews aren't over until you have what you need. No, you refuse to let them be over. You go after the truth no matter what anyone tells you. Isn't that what being a journalist is all about? Minoru scowled and charged her. The man was exactly right. Until you have what you need, those words have stuck with Minoru ever since. In fact, he quit the paper to become a freelancer because he couldn't do his job in the way he wanted while trapped in that hierarchy. Yep. So he had to make a decision. Freelance, huh? Now he wondered, what if Toyama hadn't killed himself, but had instead been the victim of a terrorist attack? But after considering the idea for a moment, he thought bitterly, so what? The reasons and the details hardly mattered at this point. What mattered was that Toyama was dead. Minokawa sat down listlessly and stared up at the sky. The blank swath of blue made him feel all those more worn out. Just what had all of the days running around been for? He felt so empty, so hollowed out by loss. All his motivation had drained away. He had no idea what he should do next. Hey, Minori Minokawa, what should you do? He tried to listen to his inner voice. You've forgotten your passion. You need to get that back. Stand up, right now. You just need to forge ahead. Yeah, that was his only option, really. He couldn't just let things end like this. And he still didn't have what he needed for his article, so Minokawa took a deep breath, ready to get back on his feet. Before he could, however, a young man stumbled across his path, taking a nasty fall on the pavement. Ow! Oh darn, that hurts. The youngster scrambled back to his feet and turned to Minokawa with a snarl. What are you looking at, pal? The young man clutched a piece of timber like a club. There was a nasty gleam in his eye. Wow. Alright, so here it is. You have to make the right choice. I'm not looking at anything, Minokawa said. I just happen to be looking in your direction. Shut your yap. Apologize, bitch, now. The punk raised his cudgel. What for? You tripped me, man. Ain't you gonna apologize for that? The kid had stumbled all on his own, but was probably too embarrassed to admit it. Guess he got to vent his anger at someone. Listen, kid, Minokawa said, it's not my fault you're such a klutz. You know, like the pedal in the car that's got a manual transmission. Oh, that's a clutch. Okay, so then like lumps of earth or clay. Those are clods, you say? Right. So then we're talking about a sort of social get-together for coffee and conversation, huh? Ah, right. That's a clash. Is it when you try to fix something using stuff that isn't really meant for that purpose? That's a kludge. Okay. The heck you just say to me? You got a death wish? With a murderous glare, the punk advanced on him, brandishing his weapon. Hey, Minokawa said. Is it fun hitting people with that thing? Alright, I'm sorry. Bring it on. I should say something different. I feel like, okay, is it fun hitting people with that thing? No, I feel like that's not the right answer. Alright, I'm sorry. Bring it on. Crap! The punk swung his wooden club without a moment's hesitation. It struck Minokawa in the shoulder, knocking him off balance. Whoa, okay. Don't really bring it on. Nah, man, it's too late for takebacks. With a nasty little grin, the young fellow swung again, then again, catching Minokawa in the arm inside. Only when the journalist was curled up in a battered ball on the ground did the kid finally let up. Hey, good to get a little warm-up in before I take down that other bee. Weapon still in hand, the punk marched off toward Dogen. Shucks. Wrong answer. He has to not head towards Dogen's side. Dragged to a street fight was not what he needed right now. It was better to just apologize and be done with it. You should have shown me that kind of respect from the start. The punk shook his head, muttering under his breath. Another dumbass. Gotta get taught some manners. With that, the young... Wrong choice. He has to not go to Dogenzaka. So A is the right choice. What? Oh, so I guess it's alright. Is it fun hitting people? Let's see what happens. It's fun hitting people with that thing. Strike up a conversation and it keeps them there. Is it fun hitting people with that thing? The corner of the punk's mouth curled up. Oh yeah, real fun. Only a dumbass beats people with their bare hands. You just wind up hurting your fist. He strikes up a conversation with the psychopath. If you're gonna enjoy some violence, you gotta have yourself a weapon. Aha. I see. In that case, maybe give it a rest with that stick, yeah? Huh? What for? The punk scowled in irritation. Don't get me wrong, Minokawa said. I'm just saying there have to be better weapons than that. Something that could take a man down in a single blow. The kid stopped to consider Minokawa's words for a moment. I get you. Yeah, you might be right about that. And I think I have just the thing. May as well go with my usual. Tossed away the piece of wood on the side of the road. Don't you go anywhere till I get back. Got it? Yeah, sure thing. Carl watches the punk headed back the way he'd come. Okay. Man, he murmured. What a dodo. Looking around, he spotted a taxi parked close by. It was Kimizuka. Do you need a ride, sir? Kimizuka asks. All politeness as he opened the back door. If you're heading to that publishing office again, I can get you there in 10 minutes. Kimizuka's driving was smooth as always. He wove his way skillfully through a series of back streets. There was some big explosion earlier, he explained. The main roads are all gridlocked. Yeah, Minokawa muttered. I was there when it happened. Oh wow, really? I'm glad to see you're not hurt then. Still, what a terrible thing, that minivan. I hear someone was inside when it exploded. I'm not sure if you were aware. Yeah, I'm aware. Oh, nothing gets past a reporter like you, I see. Kimizuka flashed Minokawa an approving smile through the rearview mirror. How much have you heard then? Rumor has it that the person who died was a middle-aged man. Oh, huh. Heh. We taxi drivers tend to hear quite a bit ourselves. Kimizuka chuckled, but Minokawa just cast his eyes down forlornly. You look tired, sir. Yeah, I guess so. His reply was barely audible. Suddenly, someone rushed out into the street right in front of the cab. Look out! There was a heavy thunk as the taxi crashed into the pedestrian. Screeching to a halt, Kimizuka and Minokawa jumped out of the vehicle to find a young man splayed out on the street. Hey, the driver called. You all right? The fallen pedestrian was practically still a kid, he wasn't moving. Kimizuka hunkered down and jostled his shoulder, then his expression stiffened in alarm. Minokawa checked the young man's pulse, but couldn't detect any heartbeat. Oh no, Kimizuka said. Tears began to well up in his eyes. Minokawa turned to him in surprise. You knew him? I did. Kimizuka cradled the young man in his arms. I'm sorry, but you'll have to find yourself another taxi, he said. I'm going to turn myself into the police. Looking down at the boy's unmoving form, Minokawa felt a pang of guilt. No, he said, I'm the one who's been asking you to drive around so recklessly all day. This one's on me too, but I'll go with you to the cops. The two men decided to head to the station together to surrender themselves. There probably wouldn't be time to work on writing articles while they were being interrogated, but that was just how it'd have to be. Bad ending. I already know there's a soundtrack and the way the story's going. This was the right thing to do. Minokawa just had to keep telling himself that, knowing that it was the truth. Bad ending. We have to... Something caused Aichi to run out to the alley. I knew it. Watch this. Minokawa's day ended in disaster when the taxi he was riding hit a young man, Aichi, who ran out into the street. But why did the kid rush out into the intersection like that? The answer lies in Aichi's story. Yep. So we have to figure out what caused him to run. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. My name is Raven from the Sky. If you enjoyed the episode, drop a like and subscribe to the channel and the series grow. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace out.